So after a couple of weeks of fun blowout victories, the Jaguars come back down to earth and lose to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 21-29. So I have my YouTube demographics, right? And I know a lot of people who watch my videos are based all around Florida, whether it be Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, wherever. So all of us to some extent was affected by Hurricane Ian. And shout out to everybody who was. It came through Florida like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it was out of here by like Friday and Saturday. And we thought it was done. We thought we were done with Hurricane Ian. And then it just comes back on Sunday and smacks us in the mouth again as the Jaguars played in a complete monsoon today. The rain, it was rainy, it was windy, it was cold, it was like 58 degrees, which is like freezing in Florida, especially when you add the rain on top of it. And I was speculating earlier this morning, like who does the rain benefit more? And I was kind of sitting there thinking it probably benefits the Jaguars more because look, what do the Eagles like to do? They like to pass the ball downfield. They like to take the top off the defense with guys like A.J. Brown. And, our safeties are pretty susceptible to that. And I said, look, if the rain occurs, that probably shuts out that part of the game. And it kind of did to an extent. And I also thought, okay, Jalen Hurts likes to run the ball. The rain should slow him down. It never slowed him down. And finally, I also thought that, look, with the rain, it's not going to be full capacity there. There's going to be less people in the seats. And it did appear that way. It looked like it was only like 75% full. So crowd noise would be down. So I said, look, rain is probably a good thing. But guess what? Rain hurt us far, far more than the Eagles. I mean, if you looked at us, it clearly looked like we were playing in a monsoon. If you looked at the Eagles, outside of a couple of drop passes, it was hard to even tell. And the player who it hurt the most was Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence was horrendous this game. Probably his worst game as an NFL quarterback. Definitely his worst game this year. I mean, look, there were some bad games last year, but we all know the mess that we were in last year. Sometimes I kind of delete that out of my memory. But this year, it was by far his worst game. He was 11 for 23, 48% completion percentage, 174 yards passing, 2 touchdowns versus 1 interception. But the big stat is that he had 4 lost fumbles. 4 lost fumbles, so 5 total turnovers from Trevor Lawrence. And those 4 lost fumbles is actually an NFL record. NFL record fumbles from one player. He wasn't good. 2 of them were completely on him. 2 of them, one of them he was rolling out and he fumbled the ball out of his hands. I don't know if it hit his legs or whatever, but it was Trevor Lawrence against Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence lost. And another one was a fumbled snap, a missed exchange, and he wound up dropping it, and boom, fumble, other team's ball. And a couple times, Juwan Taylor was getting worked by Hassan Reddick, and look, he got beat, but Trevor Lawrence should be able to sense where he is in a pocket, get a little bit of pocket presence in there, do whatever he needs to do in a pocket, whether release it early or step up a little bit. And, he fumbled twice in a pocket. So, like I said, man, it was his worst game of the season, and the rain really, really hurt him. I mean, I'm not here to make excuses for anybody, because, look, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, if it was 70 degrees and no clouds outside, oh my gosh, the Jaguars would have won this one easy. No, I mean, if it was in a dome, we would have been fine. No, because, look, both teams have to play through the same exact elements. And the Eagles did it much better than the Jaguars did. And the Jaguars had to hold the L. Look, rain, snow, sleet, hail, whatever you play in, whatever Mother Nature gives to you, you're going to have to play in that. And that's what the Jaguars did. And the Eagles completely capitalized, and the Jaguars could not. So at the end of the day, the rain, a big reason I think Trevor Lawrence played as bad as he did was because of the rain. Look, he did not fare very well in this weather at all, but it's no excuse. And the disappointing thing is, you want to use this as a stepping stone game. And a big stepping stone that I wanted to see is like, look, it's a close game. It's a game in the fourth quarter. Can Trevor Lawrence take the team over the top, drive them down the field, get a touchdown, win a close game? We yet to see him do that yet. We have a couple blowout wins where the game is over at the end of the third quarter, and you're just pretty much throwing the ball around, just embarrassing the other team. But when it comes to the Commanders game and when it comes to the Eagles game, both these games, the Jaguars couldn't capitalize, and Trevor couldn't take this team, put it over the top. And both of the game-winning drives that we've had are pathetic. I mean, the first one against the Commanders, we were a couple plays in, and Trevor Lawrence just throws it up for an easy interception. This game, it wasn't a game-winning drive; it was a game-winning play. I mean, the Jaguars 1st and 10, get the ball, let's drive downfield, fumble, game over. So yeah, it was a really bad game from Trevor Lawrence this game. Now, I know what's going to come. Everyone's going to talk bust, bust, bust. And look, I was really critical of Trevor Lawrence this game. Rightfully so. I mean, what can you really say positive from Trevor Lawrence? But look, this bust talk, come on. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan, but I'm not going to sit here every week and weigh the level of bust that Trevor Lawrence is. I mean, look, he's a young quarterback. He's going to go through his ups and downs. If you're going to be here to celebrate the ups, we have to understand that he's going to have downs. He's going to have downs. He's going to have bad games this year. All quarterbacks pretty much do. It's just, we do want to see him take the next step. And my advice is just, look, I get behind all the players on our team. If you're a Jaguar, I'm going to support you when you're in a Jaguar uniform. Trevor Lawrence is my quarterback. I'm going to continue to be tough on him, call it as I see it. But at the end of the day, he's my quarterback, and the better he does, the better the Jaguars will do. So not a good game for Trevor, but we'll see how we do really next week in this one. Now, another thing that was really upsetting was the coaching. Like, the offensive balance was really, really bad this game. We ran the ball 19 times, and we threw the ball. We had 27 dropbacks, 27 throws, or dropbacks, I should say. J-Rob and ETN had 8 carries each. It just doesn't seem like enough. I mean, you saw the Eagles, they were running the ball like crazy when it was raining, and it was working. The Jaguars were going out there, we're like, please run it, please run it. We're like, pass, 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 and we're off the field. And unfortunately, that's kind of Peterson's motto, is that you throw to score and then you run to win. So he wants to throw to get up on the lead and then only really run a lot when you have the lead, which that can get us in trouble. I mean, look, Sirianni said in his press conference that, look, they saw the monsoon coming, so they completely switched their game plan up, and it clearly worked for them. I wonder if the Jaguars said, okay, this is our game plan. Who cares about the weather? We're going to stick to this game plan. And I really wonder, Doug Peterson in this game was just did not want to change it up. So I don't know. The coaching definitely, it definitely favored the Eagles this game. So that's unfortunate, because I know we've been singing Doug Peterson's praises like all throughout the season for what he's doing. But this one was definitely an L, as it seemed like the running game was there. We could have really taken advantage of it. And really, just not only was the running game there, just the passing game wasn't. I mean, whether Trevor Lawrence was, not throwing the ball well, or whether there were like drops, it's just, which we'll get into the next, the wide receivers. I mean, Christian Kirk was really bad this game. 9 targets, only 2 receptions for 60 yards. He was dropping everything. He was also outside of Agnew, but he was the only wide receiver with a catch. I mean, Tim Jones, Marvin Jones each had their drops. Agnew, I thought, had a pretty good game. 4 receptions for 50 yards. He hauled in 2 touchdowns. One of them, we didn't talk about it yet, but man, Trevor Lawrence could have had a touchdown throw to Agnew over the top, but he overthrew it. Would have put the Jaguars at a 21-0 lead. 21-0. You really wonder, if you're in that situation, what would have happened? Football is a game of, like, if the ball bounces this way, the whole trajectory of the game changes. If the Jaguars go at 21-0, the Eagles are most likely out of the game plan. Then they have to start to press a little bit. But the Jaguars did that. They missed it. Trevor Lawrence fumbled the next play, and the rest is history. Now, the defense, shout out to Audrey Cisco, started a game with a pick 6. That was really exciting. He now has 2 interceptions on the year, having a pretty good year. Overall, I'm not too mad about the defense. Outside of, golly, man, Miles Sanders looked like Le'Veon Bell in his Steelers peak. I mean, he was just gashing us in the run game, being really patient. 27 rush attempts for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. I haven't watched Miles Sanders much, but man, this is the best I've ever seen him. He was a unit this game. Jalen Hurts was 16 rush attempts for 38 yards, 1 touchdown. He picked up the first downs when he needed them. Jalen Hurts is a problem, man. I know I underestimated him, not necessarily this game, but going into this year. I thought that they might be looking at a new quarterback. Jalen Hurts looks like the real deal. And shout out to him because I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts. When you're a good guy, I like to root for you. He's a really good teammate. He loves the game of football. I'll be rooting for Jalen Hurts to keep doing well. But yeah, he had a good game this game. Now overall, look, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is bad. I thought we got out coached. I thought the wide receivers were bad. I thought ultimately the rain really messed us up this game. It sucks. You would have liked a clean game, but you play what you have. Now, when it comes to some overall just takeaways, look, the Jaguars just played the best team in the NFL. Look, they're the only undefeated team left. Eagles look far better than any other NFL team right now, and we lost to them by 8 points. I know, look, no moral victories. It's not a moral victory. I'm pissed that we lost, but ultimately, that's the fact. The Jaguars has lost to the best team in the NFL. And also, look, if you went into this game before the season, if you would have said after 4 games the Jaguars would be 2-2, you would most likely take it. Look, the Jaguars were underdogs in each game they played this season. They're also 3 out of 4 of these games were also road games. You win the more important ones being the game against the AFC South and a game against an AFC opponent. If at the end of the year you go 13-4 and you can pick the games that you lose, you want to lose the NFC games, because when it comes to tiebreaker stuff, that's what it comes down to, is like division record, AFC record, all that stuff. And the Jaguars, their 2 losses came to NFC opponents. And when you look at the AFC right now, a lot of 2-2 teams. So it very well, maybe at the end of the year, it comes down to a tiebreaker situation and the Jaguars just wind up losing the right ones. The Jaguars also right now are tied for first place in the AFC South. We no longer outright hold it, as the Tennessee Titans won, but the Jaguars are tied with them. Each team has a record of 2-2, so we can't sit here once again and be first place in the AFC South. And I believe with tiebreaker, we might be above them. I don't know. I don't know about that. So that's another one. Now, when you look ahead at the schedule, the Jaguars have the Titans, they have the Colts, the Giants, and Broncos. All these teams, the Colts are beatable. We already beat them. The Texans, you think that your roster is far superior to them. Of course, Texans, we haven't beat them since 2017, so we can't just sit here and mark that as a W, but we have a better roster than them. Giants and Broncos both look like very beatable teams. So, the Jaguars have a pretty favorable schedule coming up. So, let's go out there. Jaguars are 2-2. Let's refocus. I'm not super mad about this loss just because of all the circumstances, but I think that the Jaguars, we're sitting in a good spot right now, 2-2. We got some home games coming up. Got a game in London, so Jaguars right now, I'm feeling good about the team. I really am. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Go Jags.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars, too much for your crew to handle. Keep it lit, and this is the #1 YouTube channel by UCF Jaguar. Yeah, we about to blast off. If you've been a fan, then this is the dopest platform. Yeah, never hold back. Gotta represent for the teal and black.